I remember the exact second the world ended. It was 9:40 in the morning. The bells were still ringing for All Saints' Day. And then the ground beneath my feet began to move. At first, I thought it was dizziness. Then the floor cracked open. The wall screamed. And within moments, the richest city in Europe started collapsing around me. This isn't a metaphor. Lisbon actually died that morning. And somehow, I survived.
By the end of this story, you'll understand how an empire built on gold, faith, and global power was erased in less than 10 minutes, and how it returned stronger, more modern, and more rational than any city before it. This is not just history. This is the day that changed Europe forever. But before the ground began to shake, you need to see what the world was about to lose.
24 hours earlier, Lisbon felt untouchable. The Tagus River shimmered like liquid gold beneath the autumn sun. Ships crowded the harbor so tightly you could almost step from deck to deck without touching water. The air smelled of cinnamon, cloves, roasted chestnuts, and sea salt. If you had stood outside the royal palace that afternoon, you would have believed you were standing at the center of the world. Because in many ways, you were. Gold from Brazil flowed into Lisbon in such quantities that it reshaped Europe's economy. Diamonds glittered in the hands of nobles who had never seen the mines they came from. Clerks inside the royal palace tracked ships arriving from Goa, Macau, Angola, and beyond. Lisbon wasn't just wealthy, it was the engine of the world's first global economy. But beneath the wealth, the city was fragile. The streets were narrow. Buildings were tall and packed tightly together. Churches were filled with thousands of candles, and the city had no modern water system. On the surface, it glittered, but structurally, Lisbon was a trap, and that trap was about to snap shut.
The night before the disaster, the city was alive. In Alfama, fish sellers shouted prices. Sailors laughed in crowded taverns. Music drifted from open windows in Bairro Alto. Church bells echoed across the hills. Families prepared for the holy day. No one sensed danger. There were no warning systems in 1755. No seismographs, no alarms, nothing. At dawn, on November 1st, churches filled beyond capacity. All Saints' Day was one of the most important religious holidays of the year. Thousands gathered inside massive stone cathedrals. Candles flickered beneath painted ceilings. Incense filled the air. And then, without mercy, the earth roared. This was not a tremor, it was violence. The ground convulsed in waves so powerful, people were thrown to their knees. Stone columns twisted, roofs split apart. Massive blocks of masonry crashed into terrified crowds. And the most terrifying part? It didn't stop. For nearly 6 minutes, the earth shook. 6 minutes is an eternity when buildings are collapsing around you. Streets buckled, houses slammed into each other. The great Carmo Convent shattered. Its vaulted ceiling collapsed onto the worshippers below. Fires ignited instantly as candles fell into shattered wood. When the shaking stopped, the silence felt unbearable. people ran. Thousands rushed toward the river. The open waterfront seemed safe, but then the water moved. The river suddenly pulled backward. Ships tilted in the harbor. The riverbed appeared. Fish flopped in the open air, and children ran forward in curiosity. And then someone screamed. A wall of water rose at the mouth of the river, 20 feet high, maybe 30. It rushed toward the city with unstoppable force. The tsunami smashed into the docks. Ships were ripped from their anchors and hurled into the streets. Entire sections of Lisbon vanished beneath the water.
But the nightmare wasn't over. Thousands of fallen candles were now scattered across broken timber. Small fires erupted everywhere. Within hours, they merged into one unstoppable inferno. Rubble blocked the streets. Water wells were destroyed. The fire burned for 5 days. Lisbon wasn't just shaken, it was crushed, drowned, and then burned.
Aftermath. Between 30 and 60,000 people died. 85% of the city was destroyed. The royal palace vanished. A library of 70,000 books turned to ash. Masterpieces of art disappeared forever. But the earthquake didn't only destroy buildings, it shattered belief. Across Europe, philosophers asked a terrifying question. How could a deeply religious city be destroyed on a holy day? Writers like Voltaire began to challenge the idea that the world was perfectly ordered by divine protection. The earthquake cracked not only stone, but certainty itself. Portugal's king was terrified. He refused to sleep inside stone buildings ever again. But his prime minister saw something different: opportunity. The Marquis of Pombal took control. His first command was simple: bury the dead and feed the living. Then he did something revolutionary. Instead of rebuilding the old medieval maze, he erased it. A new Lisbon was planned. Wide boulevards, symmetrical streets, standardized buildings. But the real innovation was hidden inside the walls. A wooden framework designed to flex during earthquakes, the world's first earthquake-resistant architecture. Engineers even tested the models by marching soldiers around them to simulate tremors. Science was now guiding city design. From the ashes rose a completely new district, Praça, a city of clean lines and rational planning. Where the royal palace once stood, a massive square opened toward the river, Praça do Comércio, a symbol that Lisbon was no longer just a royal capital, it was a modern commercial city. Lisbon had become the first Enlightenment city. Today, the ruins of Carmo still stand beneath the open sky. Broken arches reaching upward like a memory the city refused to erase. They remind us that beauty and catastrophe can exist in the same breath. Lisbon's story isn't only about destruction, it's about resilience. A city that was crushed, drowned, and burned rebuilt itself into something stronger. And if you walk through Lisbon today, you're walking across layers of history. Beneath your feet lie palace ruins, tsunami debris, and burned manuscripts. Above you rise buildings designed to survive the earth itself. The day Lisbon died was the day the modern city was born. If this journey into the day Lisbon died changed how you see history, subscribe and join us. Every week, we use AI to reconstruct lost worlds, forgotten cities, and the moments that reshaped humanity. And trust me, the next story is even more unbelievable.